Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, let's go back in time. Do you guys remember when Kininda was still in the witness box? Was it 2024 or 2025? I'm not sure when exactly, but I do remember that there was something that Advocate Mnisi spoke about. In fact, he was inquiring. He inquired about the content in the memorandum that was submitted by Brigadier Kininda to the NPA, but after Absalom Zungu's testimony, his question makes made a lot of sense because back then we did not understand quite well. Basically, what Nisi was saying is that Ugeninda arrested the accused based on hearsay evidence, which Absalom Zungu is currently disputing, or on record is currently disputing. And he also, Ukininda obtained in May 2023 a statement from Constable Sizwe Zungu, who is the son of Ubabu Absalom Zungu. So now what is happening there is quite telling and is making you ask a lot of things. Anyway, now this is where the core problem is now. The arrests were built on hearsay. The Brigadier Geninda memorandum to the NPA was questioned. The memorandum purported to justify arrest of the accused. Ne? So now the issue is that Absalom Zungu disputes the alleged being a breakthrough witness that made things to go to point at the accused. Ne? And then now that version is attributed to him is hearsay, and there is no affidavit that existed at the time of the arrest. And we only hear about Sizwe Zungu's statement years later after the arrest of the accused, meaning at the time of the arrest, there was no sworn evidence supporting the charges. I don't know if you guys understand that. Now, the arrest was based on alleged oral claims, no affidavits, no confirmations of a statement in terms of statements, no sworn evidence, no probable cause of the arrest. Only in 2023, Sizwe's affidavit appears. That is not how investigation is supposed to happen, right? This is retroactive justification of the ways or means to arrest the accused. So that is why I was like questioning what's going on there. So what actually Missy proved when it comes to that, his question now lands like a hammer. What evidence did Brigadier Geninda actually place before the NPA when he asked for these guys to be prosecuted? And if you are listening now, when you are listening to everything that has happened, every evidence, the answer is very chilling. No sworn statements, no corroborated facts, no admissible evidence, just hearsay dressed up as certainty. And people went on national television and said that we have a watertight case. Haibu, we have Opeki Kale was like, we have a watertight case. These are the right people. And there's something that we must note that is very much notable. Ubheki Cele has some beef that he has with Fiso Kuhlentulu, who is accused number 5. I don't know what beef is that. He will tell you he is dangerous. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying he's lying, but the way he expressed the passion that he has when he speaks about accused number 5, I swear there is something there. I don't know what it is. Maybe umuntu will need to sit down with accused number 5 and ask questions. Tshela mina ke bafo, what's going on here? Why is Cele always coming for you sideways like that? Why? Because Spiso Ntuli is not the only dangerous hitman KwaZulu Natal, but the way Bheki Cele speaks of him, I swear, something is sitting there. Something is laying there, I promise you, the way he speaks of him. Anyway, I digress. So now Umnisi asked this question about the memorandum. What did Gininda submit? And years later now, or a year later, now that question was answered because it's not good. After Zungu's testimony, after Absalom Zungu's testimony, the picture is very clear. The foundation of the arrest is hollow. The memorandum misrepresent evidential readiness. The affidavits came after the fact. The accused were prosecuted before evidence existed. Do you guys realize what that means? This is not a weak case. This is a procedurally contaminated prosecution. And Mnisi saw it long before the rest of us did. He saw it. He was like, wait, hang on a minute, make it make sense. And he was made to look like a problematic lawyer at the time, but he was doing his job. So South Africa, what you are about, what you heard back then and what you are hearing about this video is not speculation. It is not conspiracy. It is a timeline. And timelines don't lie. For years, many didn't understand Advocate Mnisi's question. It sounded technical, bureaucratic, almost boring, right? Until Absalom Zungu took the stand. And suddenly everything snapped into focus. Because the truth is this, these men were arrested before evidence existed. That is exactly what it says. Brigadier Gininda submitted a memorandum to the NPA. That document was meant to say investigations are complete, evidence is ready, prosecute, please. That is what it was meant to do. But what was actually inside that memorandum? No affidavits, no sworn statements, no corroborated facts, just hearsay. Absalom Zungu told the court, the version attributed to me is false. I never confirmed it under oath. Here is the killer blow of it all. Sizwe Zungu's affidavit, the one now relied on, only appears May 2023. And the guys were arrested in July, from May, June, July, August, whatever you can call it. But they were arrested somewhere there in those years, back in 2020. Let that sink in. The arrest happened years earlier, 2020. So what does that mean? It means the state didn't investigate, then arrest. They arrested first and went hunting for evidence later. This is not policing. That is not prosecution. That is fabricating timeline. That is fabrication by its timeline on its own, guys. And the case isn't collapsing because of a clever lawyer. It's collapsing because it was born illegally. No affidavits, no sworn evidence, no lawful basis, just a memorandum pretending certainty while the evidence didn't even exist yet. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. That is exactly what happened when it comes to this. We didn't understand Advocate Mnisi's question back then about the NPA memorandum until Absalom Zungu testified. Now it's clear. The arrest came before the evidence. That is what happened here. It's quite shocking to say the least, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We cannot run away from it. We can't. You just can't like pretend as if it did not happen. It happened in this Senzo Meyiwa case. Because now there are moments in a trial where one questions, just one, exposed, where just one question exposes everything. At a time, many people did not understand, but now, it makes a lot of sense. Because what is this? What are we doing with this one? Advocate Mnisi, when he asked about the memorandum, I remember Ubaloyi was going up and down, and Judge Rata was protecting Gininda. A simple question, What exactly did the investigating officer, Brigadier Gininda, place before NPA when he sought prosecution? Why does that matter? Because in South African law, a memorandum to the NPA is not casual correspondence. It is a declaration. It says investigations are done. They are complete. Evidence exists. This case is trial ready. That is what authorizes arrest. That is what triggers prosecution. That is what puts human beings in prison. So Mnisi wasn't asking about paperwork. He was asking about the truth. He was asking about the truth. And then at that time, he was made to look like he was crazy. He was made to look like he was crazy. And now when you look back into everything, the timeline kills the case because the law lives in timelines. Here is the real sequence. First, you arrest. Second, docket submitted for trial. Thirdly, prosecution proceeds. Fourth, years later, affidavits appear. Now, that is backwards. That is illegal. That is unconstitutional. Evidence is supposed to justify arrest, not follow them. Not follow them. You cannot arrest on promises. You cannot detain on future proof. You cannot prosecute on we will fix it later. But that is exactly what happened in the Senzo Meyiwa case. And now the state doesn't understand that the state convicted itself. And the state's own witnesses sealed it. And they were like, no, I'm not part of that. That is not how it happened. That is not how it happened. And I remember Utiti Tobane and Zulu, they spoke about this when the investigating officer submits the docket for trial. It means investigations are complete, not ongoing, not pending, not will supplement late, complete. So now the obvious question is, how can investigations be complete when affidavits do not exist? How can dockets be trial ready when the key evidence is created years later? There is only one answer. The docket misrepresented reality, and that misrepresentation sent people to prison. Bongani Ntanzi, now it's 6 years as a prison. He's going to be spending his 6th Christmas in prison over these allegations that had what you call affidavits done Ngabo Constable Zungu on 2023 while they were arrested 2020. And now I remember Advocate Mshololo said it plainly, guys, this is a trial by ambush. Arrest first, patch later, surprise the defense mid-trial. That violates the Constitution. It violates fairness. It violates equality of arms. A defense team cannot meaningfully defend against evidence that did not exist when the case began. That is not prosecution. That is procedural warfare. And Judge Ratta did not take note of these things. In fact, he did not care. And here is where the danger expands beyond this case. If court allows arrest to be validated by post-facto affidavits, then constitutional safeguards collapses. Because then police can arrest now and justify later. Prosecutors can prosecute now and fill gaps later, and liberty becomes conditional. The law is clear. An unlawful arrest cannot be cured by time. An unlawful prosecution cannot be fixed by illegality. At inception remains illegality forever. No affidavit can rewrite history. And the case is not collapsing because of clever lawyers. It is collapsing because it was built backwards. No sworn statement, no sworn evidence at arrest, no lawful basis for prosecution, a memorandum that signaled certainty where none existed. Once you understand that, everything else becomes noise. Credibility debates, side issues, distractions. The foundation was rotten, and rotten foundations cannot hold a verdict. And let this be said clearly. You cannot arrest on evidence that does not yet exist. You cannot prosecute on hearsay, and you cannot repair an unlawful arrest with time. This is not a weak case. This is a constitutionally invalid prosecution, struggling to survive on procedure instead of principle. And once you see the timeline, you can never unsee it, because it is what it is. I want us to discuss this via the comment section. What are your thoughts when it comes to all of this? Do you think that the state has a case here, or the case died a long time ago? Let's talk comments. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.